All right, I'm the Flat Rate Master, and let's talk about why you can't find a better shop to work at. If you're on any sort of flat rate or commission, this is really where you start to evaluate the shop you're working at because, well, it's tough. It's Christmas time, people aren't spending money fixing cars unless they have to, and your paychecks, well, reflect that. Now, of course, we all want the ideal shop that keeps us busy and works perfectly, and those don't really exist. In fact, most of the shops that say they're part of the 1% of shops really aren't. They just generally pay better and have better equipment. 9 times out of the 10, those shops that say they're part of the 1% don't operate much better than anybody else. In fact, they usually have worse flaws that you overlook because of pay. With that said, those shop owners also say 99% of the techs out there suck. But that's an important part of what I want to talk about in this video is, well, as a technician, how good are you actually? A lot of technicians have a better opinion of themselves than they are. Let's be honest. A lot of technicians also undervalue themselves. And really, it takes a hard personal look at yourself to evaluate how good you really are. And you have to actually look inside, look at your record at the shop you're currently working. What's your comebacks? How often do you have comebacks? How egregious are they? You know, if you have very few comebacks and they're primarily, RTV didn't seal properly or something like that. Maybe prep a little better. But for me, anytime I have a comeback, I analyze that comeback to figure out how I can get better. And that's what everybody should be doing. If it's coming back because I didn't do a good job cleaning the surface or I let oil get on the sealing surface and it got between the RTV and the pan that I was putting on, well, that's my procedures, not a problem with the RTV or the pan. That's something I'm doing wrong. And you really need to evaluate that properly. Diagnostics. Are you looking at Identifix and just throwing that part on there based on a code? Or are you actually doing the testing? And that's one of the biggest things that a lot of people don't really think about when it comes to diagnostics. They look at Identifix or forums or whatever, shotgun a part, and they're great at diagnostics. Well, it doesn't really work that way. You need to prove whatever you're saying is wrong is wrong. Now, another part of this is, well, the interview process. Now, I've said this many times, but the fact of the matter is when you are interviewing at a shop, you need to be interviewing them. Is it a place that you want to work at? I passed on a job straight up because the general manager straight up lied to my face. I knew it was a lie. He knew it was a lie. There's no way I'm going to work for a general manager that is going to straight up lie to my face. In the interview, you need to be evaluating them. And I think a lot of people fail at that. It's that shop looks good, but if you start talking to them and, there's a bunch of red flags, and I'm not going to get into a bunch of red flags in this video, but let's be honest, I've done videos about that in the past. The fact is that if you want to go to work at a top shop, the actual 1%, you have to know that there's going to be different problems at that shop, regardless of whether you go work for the top 1% or not. Every shop's going to have different problems. And let's be honest, the money is probably going to make or break any problems in a shop. The more problems, the more money you need to deal with them. And it's just the way of the world. And if you think you're going to go to that, golden palace of a shop and get everything's perfect, it doesn't happen, period. At those top shops, trust me, they're going to push you for maximum output every day, regardless. And, and let's be honest, their management techniques may be even worse than where you work now because they're so obsessed with that dollar, whereas the laid back shop you're working at now, less so. But when it comes down to it, self-evaluation and improving on the things you lack are what are going to make or break going into a job application. Performing a good interview is also important. For instance, if they ask you a question on diagnostics and you can't answer it easily, you probably need to go back and do some studying. Now, there are some questions in an interview that will be stupid and you just kind of got to navigate how you want to answer them, but that's another subject. But when it comes down to it, you need to know your skill level, where you actually fit as far as cost in the industry on average. You need to know your strengths, your weaknesses, and you need to have a good overall way of conveying that to the person interviewing you, period. If you do a bad interview, doesn't matter how good of a technician you are, you're going to have a hard time leveling up where you work, period. If you go into an interview and you just can't articulate your skills, you have no skills, per that interviewer. Simple as that. So if you have the skills, work on understanding how to do a good interview. It's as simple as that. I'm gonna say this statement because it holds true for a lot of technicians. Fake it till you make it. Let's be honest. Most job applicants don't make it through the door simply because they did a poor interview. So work on that skill above all else. Obviously, you want to be a good technician that brings value to the shop you're coming to work for. Having a skill set that you can put out there that you're really good at, whether it is high-level diagnostics, whether it is turning and burning with low comebacks, whatever your strongest suit is, you need to know that and be able to articulate that information. You also need to be able to describe your weaknesses, whatever they may be, and be honest. There's nothing worse than having a diagnostic guy that can't diagnose a bad relay on a Honda air compressor because he doesn't understand how electricity works, yet he's supposed to be a diagnostic guy. Just an example, but the fact of the matter is if you're not super strong with diagnostics, don't put yourself out there as being super strong with diagnostics. Go to your strengths, what you're good at. Go in there, articulate your skills well, and sell yourself while you're verifying that the place is actually what it says it is. Because it's really important to have a list of questions to ask the shop that you're going to work for. Interview them. It's quite frankly just as important as the interview to you. Because if you find out the shop owner is an arrogant SOB that requires stupid things for you to do for employment, it may not be the place for you to work at. So just keep that in mind. Hope you found this video helpful. As always, thanks for watching. I am the Flatratemaster.